How to make a stakeholder engagement plan in construction. This is a really important video, and let me just tell you why. In our company at LeanTact, we support 50, 60, 70 plus jobs with multiple clients. It's fantastic. We have a great time. This isn't a lot for a company like ours, but we're nearing $4 million in revenue a year just from consulting because that service is there to help clients. The tact planning, last planner, Kanban systems that we use are very simple for us because, like Hal Maycomer said, those systems, that's the technical side. All they need is to be described and implemented. But Hal Maycomer is always talking about, he's one of my mentors, the socio-technical aspect of it, the teaming side of it. Anytime there's a rumble session or a hurdle to get over or a bump in the road, anytime that happens, it's the socio-technical aspect of it. It's the overall team with all of the stakeholders, it's not properly aligned. We're not having the right meeting. We don't have the communication channels built here. We're not properly taking care of the needs of that one entity. So we have to have a stakeholder engagement plan. We just have to. Whether we want to or not, we have to. And I remember a project just telling a story at the Bioscience Research Laboratory where Derek Kirkland and Shelby Riddell, DPR, really did a great job of what they called a pre-flight kickoff, in-flight plan, and landing the plane. And so what we would do, we had this really nice teaming session where we said, how are we going to take off on the project? How are we going to manage turbulence? How are we going to land this project? And that really helped bring all of the stakeholders together. And we always anchored back to that original plan. Fluffy, yes. Enjoyable, absolutely. Worth it, 1,000,000%. The results, priceless. It sounds like a commercial. But really, a stakeholder engagement plan, whatever it looks like, whether it's on paper, whether it's on a board, whether it's a charter, whether it's a meeting, it has to be done so that everybody knows what the expectations are, what their involvement is, how to communicate, and how to measure the results of the project and how to improve in a plan, do, check, act cycles. I don't really care how it's done, but it has to be done. Here are some misconceptions because I've covered a little bit of this in the past, but here are some misconceptions that I want to address quickly right now. Some people think that stakeholder management is just about communication. It's not. You need a full plan. Many believe that it's just about providing updates and meetings. It's really not. You may not take care of expectations and really take care of all of the stakeholders doing it that way. And maybe that's not even the way they understand it. Sometimes people think a stakeholder engagement plan is a one-time plan. It's not. Or that it just happens at the kickoff. It doesn't. And one thing, and I hate to say it, I hope I don't bother anybody, is that sometimes people just assume everyone has an equal say. They don't, but everyone matters equally. And some people think that it will naturally happen by good practices, and it won't. The bottom line is, let me give you an example. This is kind of off the mark just a little bit, but it really resonates with me. I've been learning a lot more about inbound content marketing, or let's call it interest media or interest marketing. And there's a study that says over 70% of the people making a decision to buy, over 70% of them have already decided before they even talk to you. And so it's about your content. And for a lot of years, as all of you know, I've been creating content over and over. And I think it's good content. We try really hard. I put a lot of research into it. It's not always getting likes. And I found out this video that you're watching will only do well if the title is what you're searching. So we have to connect what you're typing in on Google or YouTube to the title, talk about what you're interested in a way that you're interested in, and have it link either in a video or a blog post to the article to us so you know who we are. I could be creating all the value in the world, but if I don't name the video right, you're never gonna see it. So on a construction project, it's similar. You could be doing the best job in the world, but if you don't have a stakeholder management plan or a stakeholder engagement plan where everybody knows what the expectations are, what they need, and how they loop into it, if they can't connect to the good work that you're doing, it doesn't matter, and you're not gonna have what you need. And you could go build a project that was on time, on budget, raving fan, clean the whole time, great quality, no accidents, the whole thing, and not get credit for it. And I've literally seen this time and time again where another contractor didn't do as good of a job late over budget, lots of difficulties, but they did do those connecting things and did get credit for the good things, and they do get the next job, and you're like, what? I remember when I was young, this is not political. Like, we're not talking about Republicans or Democrats, but when I was young, I remember the first George Bush not really campaigning. And I remember when I was a little kid sitting in front of a TV, him being like, people know the job I'm doing. I don't need to campaign. I'm busy being president. And we all know Bill Clinton won the election. Now, I'm not saying who should have won the election, but that philosophy of my work speaks for itself is not accurate. A stakeholder engagement plan will help you to win the project election, because you have to communicate what you're doing. So here are some tips. The first thing that you're going to want to do with your stakeholders is talk to your building owner or the owner's rep and say, I would like to do this idea. I would like to build with you a stakeholder engagement plan. That is the first step. Then you can go into step 2, where you actually look at it and you map it out. And I would love this to be drawn on a whiteboard. Well, we have facilities management, we have public relations, we have the media department, we have planning, design, and construction department for the owner. We have the end users, and I'm just using an example from my past. We have the lab researchers, we have the consultants, we have the janitors, we have, map everybody. Who are the stakeholders? Number 1. Then what you're going to want to do on that map is step number 3 is say, what does each team need? Now, ideally, you're going to get them in a room, but if you can't do that, it's one-on-one or through the right channels, maybe through the owner's rep or through the owner themselves. What do they need? What do they need? What do they need? You're going to get so tired of asking this if you've done it right. But once you know that, you're going to look at what does everybody need. Now, you do know what the project needs, but you know what everybody else needs. Then you ask these questions. How do we organize the team? And maybe that's pretty simple, because it might just be the owner, architect, and you. Fine. But how do we then create the right communication and meeting systems so that everybody knows what's going on and has the opportunity to connect and provide input? I'll just give you for instance, like facilities management needs to be a part of the commissioning process, and the end users need to be a part of the wall device location coordination process, and the media outreach for the owner on the campus needs to be a part of any weekly updates that you send to the neighbors, right? When do they tie in? Then you'll come up with a cadence, and you will come up with your standard operating procedures for that stakeholder engagement plan. Identify something that's crucial. I'll list this as number 4, which is your conditions of satisfaction, and then put it somewhere where you and the owner or your owner's rep and the designers can check to make sure you're meeting the criteria and improve from there. That's the minimum of what you're going to do in this plan. And you can improve from there. And any question along the way needs to be addressed. You need to get through this process. And here are just some examples, and I'll close this down. How do I know which stakeholders need to be involved? What if some stakeholders don't have time for extensive meetings? How do I handle passive aggressive resistance? What is the best way to document engagement? How do I prevent miscommunication? What tools and formats should I use? How do I scale emergencies or problems? Like, it doesn't matter. You can just keep going through all your questions. Make sure it's in your plan with the right representative, your contact with the owner, and then implement it by making it visual, communicating it, making sure everybody on your team understands, and that it is on a cadence in a meeting agenda so that you can make it a focus. That is how you manage the stakeholder engagement plan. And if you do that and follow these steps, I promise you, you can end up finishing this project with raving fan clients. I'm going to leave this with you in the blog post below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.